doing a little live video for you tonight. It's 8 o'clock Eastern Time, and I want to do a quick video on how I've been doing drum recordings lately. And just a quick overview. I did this on Facebook Live the other night, and I realized, oh, you can do this on Instagram, right? And you can do it on YouTube and everywhere. So I figured I'd just do another one on here. And if we're just meeting for the first time, my name is Chris DiChiara. I'm a percussionist with the United States Navy Band in Washington, D.C. And I play drums with the cover band Dr. Fu and hair metal, and the Iron Maiden tribute, Eyes of the Nile, and I sing with the Beatles acoustic group Nowhere Men. So I've been doing a lot of drum videos and percussion videos, and while there's a lot of different ways to do it, there's many ways, I'm just going to show you how I've been doing it. And I think it'll give you a good idea of at least the basics of what you really do need. And while this might be kind of an elaborate setup, I'll turn the phone around in a second, you certainly by no means do you need most of anything here at all. So I'm going to switch the camera around here, and hopefully you'll see better. Alright, I got this on portrait mode because I think that's the only way to go on here, but I'm not sure. So I'm just going to go with it. So this is the room I record in. So I leave this drum set up. I don't have to move anything out of here at all. All my gigging drums are elsewhere, all packed up. So this kit stays here, all mic'd up, ready to go. So the first thing is definitely have some lights, and mainly something kind of like a spotlight. These aren't really spotlights, but something that just focuses a little bit more on you, the subject behind the drums. So I got one on each side, which is kind of the ideal, all facing in. But you can get those, shadow boxes and stuff like that. And this room just really isn't that big for all that stuff. So I might get a shadow box or two, but we'll see. I don't know. But so far, these have been working pretty well. And so lights, I got a couple of just regular lamps for the room that add a little bit. But these little cheap things have been very helpful, actually. Home Depot, I don't know how much I spent, $25, $30. And these poles are just photography poles that I bought from a friend. Thanks, Dave. So that way you can kind of get them up pretty high. Got a clamp, these shells, filter paper, and a forget what kind of bulb is in there, but LED probably. So that's it with lighting. I'll show you another light in a second when we get to the other side of the kit. But everything here is mic'd. Just for my purposes, it's just easier since nothing is moving at all. I have everything mic'd, and I don't use this whole kit all the time by any means, but you can see I got two concert toms up here. Those are mic'd. All the toms are mic'd. The bass drum is mic'd on the outside and on the inside. The snare drum is mic'd up top and on the bottom as well. Two overheads and hi-hat mic. And sometimes I have a room mic, which is this thing over here, but it doesn't seem to do a lot in this room because it's not really like a great room that has a real flattering kind of atmospheric sound. It's 8-foot ceilings, drywall. It's a good room in terms of there's no weird sounds or reflections or anything like that, but it doesn't have any great spatial kind of quality to it that would be good for putting into a mix. So, hey Jason. So that's mics. So everything is plugged in to this box here, and everything is labeled. So all the mics go into this. And this box, this snake, goes all the way back into, I'll show you, I'll grab this little light. It's going to go back into these two interfaces back here. So everything is plugged into the back of these two interfaces, as you can see. So there's about 12 mics for drums, and then there's just some power. There's some instrument cables that attach to monitors for reference and listening back to things, listen back to music, and USB that just plugs into the computer, which I'll show you from the other side. But that's it. Mics plug into that box through the snake, go back here into the back of these two interfaces. All right, so let's go around the other side. Try not to fall on anything. So the two interfaces that I just mentioned are these guys. So Presonus 192 on top, and its sister component, the DP88 on the bottom, that just gives me more channels to plug stuff into. So in this interface, they have two inputs in the front. This one is the bass drum, that's the snare, and in the back is 6 more. That would be the top tom, second tom, third tom, and floor tom. Those are all plugged into this guy. And then the back of this guy is kind of the extra stuff. The hi-hat, the bottom snare, the outside mic, and the room mic, if I ever use that. Oh, and the overheads are plugged into the back here as well. So then through USB here, the interfaces are all connected to this USB, which goes into the computer. And then I don't have the computer on right now, but then I just load up my session and everything shows up in there. I should have put it on, but I didn't. So that's really it with how, like the basic overview of how that works, with where the microphones go and how it gets powered into your session. So if you have Pro Tools or Cubase or Logic, or I use Studio One, you just set up your session and get all your gain controls, gain staging, and get all your inputs correct, and you're off to the races, and you record your audio. So since I'm doing like multi-camera angle things, I want to make sure that I have good audio, because you can do videos with camera audio, but that's probably not going to sound too great with drums. So I want to keep the video and the audio separate. So all the audio is going to get mixed down in Studio One on my laptop, and I'm going to apply that to the video that I end up making as well, which should be at the same time. So I'm going to have a bunch of cameras. I usually do about 4. So I'll have a GoPro up here on the top looking down, which is always nice to have that overhead view. And I've been using a GoPro 8 for that. And it shoots 4K, it looks really nice, very clear. And with these two lights, again, that's just going to add a nice little extra sheen to the final product. So then I'll have another GoPro here on this mount, shooting in like that. And then I usually have a stand, like a microphone stand right here, shooting in this way. And then, of course, you have to have a foot cam. So how I've been doing that is I ended up getting this light. It's a Lume Cube. and it's actually pretty amazing. It has about 10 settings of brightness, and so right now it's on about like the third or fourth brightness, but I'll keep putting it up and you can see the light changing. Alright, so that's with the lowest brightness of the Lume Cube. Okay? And I'll just go through the settings again. See what a difference that makes. Just with this little guy. Probably, I don't know, $100 or something like that. You can put it on a little mount. So what I've been doing for this is I mount my cell phone onto a stand, which I have it on right now actually. And so I'll put it somewhere, not this view, I'll have it on, this view. I don't know how that's going to look now in the broadcast, but I'm just going to try it for now. So, and then I'll put this Lume Cube somewhere where it captures the bass drum working. And usually you have to put the phone or whatever you're using to get the foot cam in a very strategic spot so that if I kept it here, my leg would be in the way and you wouldn't see anything. So I usually have to put it under like a floor tom. I have to put it under here, and that's what I did last time. And then facing it in, that way it gets a good shot. Maybe I can just try to do that now. Although it's not going to be wide enough with this portrait angle, and I don't know what it's going to look like if I turn the phone. I haven't done this on Instagram. I know on Facebook things get all crazy, and I did do landscape to start on that, but I'm just going to keep it here. And then I'm going to put it under the floor tom. See, it looks really close because it's in portrait, I think. So that doesn't look great. I'll just turn it and see what happens. That looks close too, and I think it's because it's kind of video. When I shoot a regular video on my phone, I think it just kind of, the shot moves away, so it's not as close. But anyway, the last video I did, Red Barchetta, I put the phone under the floor tom and angled it in, and it looked perfect. And I just put this Lume Cube in a direction where there wasn't any glare, and I put it on a setting where it just wasn't too bright. It was just enough. You just have to fool around with that. So that's it with cameras. Foot cam, always got to have the foot cam. So that's about it with this little general overview. Again, lights, anything to make your drums look somewhat lit up. You don't want fuzzy, you don't want dark. No one really wants to watch that. I'm still working on how to get mine better quality. I mean, it's always a work in progress, and I have a ways to go, that's for sure. But if you want to check out what I've been doing, I'll put a link, but it's just youtube.com/deech, DEECH72.com. And sorry, youtube.com/deech72. And there's some videos on this page as well. So mics, lights, cameras, and that's about it. I wanted to keep this general overview so you can get an idea. I'm thinking about doing a whole tutorial on recording, which would be a long time, and it would be a lot of work, and it would probably take, 2 hours to go through every single process and do a screen share of the session, do the video editing, and I might do it just to keep the project on the simple side so I can show you the nuts and bolts of how to actually do it. Syncing camera angles, doing a quick mix, which for me is definitely a work in progress, but just to do something quick so you can see the whole actual process in one time. So that's about it here. Thanks for watching, appreciate it, and I'm gonna save this video and post it, and hopefully do another one soon. So thanks again. Have a great night. Stay safe.